Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source. This is the video summary of the Montana Land Report for July 5th, 2023. I hope everybody had a safe and good Independence Day holiday. It was nice across Montana. It's so green. We've had such a wet spring and early summer. Having all the fireworks goes off kind of reminded me that in times past, fire danger is often a huge issue on the 4th of July, and a lot of communities banning fireworks and that kind of stuff. And it was nice this year. I don't think anywhere in Montana really had to worry about that. We're just having an incredible green, lush summer. Hopefully the rains will continue somewhat, or it won't dry out too much, because sometimes actually so much early rain and growth can lead to higher fire danger later if it really dries out. So we'll just keep hoping for that. Relatively calm week in the market over the past week, 23 property updates. What we're continuing to see is a large amount of price changes and a fair amount of properties coming back on the market that were once pending. So these are signs of this ongoing correction market, I would call it. Again, 23 total property updates over the past week. 4 of those were new listings, 8 price changes, which again is quite high. 3 properties back on the market, 4 pending sales, and 4 sales. And if you look at the live market stats on Montana Land Source, it just continues to show actually a slight decrease in the average asking price on properties that are currently on the market. Still lower inventory, lower properties coming on the market, just seeing lower volume overall. Also showing pretty substantial statistical price decrease per acre on sales. That does not tell all the story. We are also seeing high sales at the same time, so that's a little bit contradictory. Again, we've been talking about this week after week. There is demand out there. Brokers still say they've got buyers looking, but they've gotten very cautious and I guess picky and careful about what they want. There just isn't that kind of overheated or desperate or whatever you want to call it buying that we sort of saw over the past 2 years. So the market is always more complex than the stats automatically show, but I think what that's showing is that high quality properties are selling high and are selling well. And what happens when the market really gets overheated, one might say, is a lot of the properties that aren't necessarily top quality properties, or what we might call A properties, kind of get pulled up. And so we see high prices across the market and strong demand and sales volume across the market, but that has really been correcting. And I think the lower quality properties, if that's how you'd say it, are having to see price corrections and are sort of stagnating on the market perhaps. So sort of a correction, particularly with the lower quality properties. But as most always, the top quality properties sell strong. So there is strength in this market. There is demand in this market. But volume is way down, and I just keep calling it a correction period. I think we're in a period of market correction, which as a market analyst and appraiser is actually kind of a good thing to see. It's always nice to see markets come into some sort of balance, and I think that's what's happening right now. In other news, the Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers, which is meeting tomorrow in the morning on July 6th, is having a member from Land Trust speak. And Land Trust is an interesting platform. It's been called the Airbnb for hunting and recreation in Montana. They're trying to address a niche in the market for landowners to be able to perhaps capitalize on some of their recreational amenities without having to lease out the whole place or some of the other more traditional venues. You can just sign up online, not unlike an Airbnb, and hunt and recreate on properties, not just in Montana, but across the country, I believe. So Nick DeCastro is the CEO, I think, or one of the prime creators of that platform. He's been on the Ranch Investor podcast in the past, so that'll be interesting. And the Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting is available by Zoom and also in person in Billings, Bozeman, and Missoula. You can find that event on mtlandsource.com, as well as lots of other market information and calendar and all things relative to the Montana land market. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week.